Trust your gut. What? Did I miss the secret formula? What's going on? Oh my gosh, I don't believe in love no more. We fall in love with or the idea of what they can be, their potential. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominique Maya, and today I'm going to be talking about some things that I've learned at the young age of 17. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Pause. I lied. Before we get into the video, I'm gonna give my Bible verse that I have set. Usually I put these in the description, but I know not all the time people are gonna check it, and I just want them to reach the people they're meant to reach. And usually the Bible verses that I pick, they go along with my video, if you hadn't noticed. Yeah. So today I'll be reading from 1 Timothy 4, verse 12, and it says, "Let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in the word, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, in purity." And I chose this verse because to me it's saying, like, even though you're young, you can still be an example to others in the way you act, the way you present yourself, the way you spread the gospel, the way you treat others, love others. This doesn't matter your age. Babe, it's from within. But anyways, that was my little verse and that was my little take on it. So now let's get into it. First on the docket, I have relationships. I think it's pretty obvious because people are my age, younger, late middle school, early high school, you've encountered some, whether that be romantic or platonic. So first I want to start off with platonic. So if I'm looking down, actually I'm going to pick it up. I have my notes here on my iPad. Me and her are locked in for life, like. But anyways, so first I'm starting off with platonic friendships. So boom, boom, boom. Not all friendships are meant to last you a lifetime. Some will come to an end sooner than you expected, or they'll just wither away. Well, that could be interpreted in different ways, but honestly, it's not always gonna be a fallout. It's not always gonna be, oh, we're beefing, this, that, and the third. It could literally just be you guys found separate paths. You guys have different passions, different goals in life. You guys meet new people, have different ideas, and you just simply grow apart. It can be that simple, but sometimes people are not meant for a lifetime, they're meant for a season. And don't hold on to those things too much. Just try and focus on the positives. Love that person from a distance and try not to force anything. And if you feel it start withering away, let it go, babe. Let it go. Next point. Not expecting too much from other people. You can have them up here. When it comes to you, you realize, oh, I fall here. I'm giving 100, you're giving me 60. I'm giving 100, you're giving me 45. What's going on? And honestly, no one's really obligated to give you the same amount of care, love, attention that you give them, but you would expect that. So to avoid getting hurt, I would really say try not to expect the world from people. Tying into that, don't give too much of yourself to people. You will lose yourself trying to keep people in your life. Don't indulge yourself into it so much. It will really take a toll on you. I'm speaking from experience, trying to hold on to something, salvage something that's not salvageable. I promise you, don't waste your time, energy, resources, all of that. Do not lose yourself trying to appease to other people. Next, we have romantic relationships. Ooh, I got a lot of notes on this one. So, if you haven't experienced a romantic relationship, if you're in late middle school, early high school, don't. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Literally don't. But are you going to do what you want anyways? Yes, you are. Who am I to tell you? I'm just giving you from my experience, don't. 9 times out of 10, babe, they're not gonna last. Don't go into this expecting, oh, this is my husband, this is my wife, we're forever, we're locked in, da 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 da. I mean, you can think that. The possibilities of it actually happening are low. Like, there's numbers, there's percentages, and those high school sweethearts lasting throughout high school or even middle school, throughout college, throughout adulthood, up until marriage, and then a long-lasting marriage, that percentage is pretty low. It happens, trust me, it happens, but it's low. You're young, you know, you're impressionable. So don't go into this thinking, oh, we're forever, because it will hurt your feelings down the line. I promise you. I'm not even trying to sound bitter or anything. It's gonna hurt your feelings down the line. So please, don't do that one. Next, don't get into any type of romantic relationship without loving yourself first. If you don't love yourself enough and then you jump into something with somebody, you're going to lose yourself. If you don't have your boundaries set in place and you stand firm on them, they're going to walk all over you. Those boundaries, you're not going to take them seriously at all. So loving yourself, being confident within yourself, if you get into a relationship and somehow maybe it becomes toxic, friendship or romantic, it can become toxic, and they'll start spitting these things at you and you'll start believing it. If you don't love yourself, you will start believing these negative things that they're telling you about yourself. I keep saying yourself, you'll view you as that person. All types of bad things that they're spitting and feeding into your spirit, you're going to accept it and you're going to start believing it. Why? Because you never had the self-love to begin with. So before you get into any of that, please, I know it's not easy to figure that out at our age, but try to figure out how you feel about yourself truly. Learn to care for yourself, compliment yourself when you wake up, say some affirmations in the mirror, you know, pamper yourself before you want somebody to pamper you, basically, so you don't fall for it so easily. Yeah. Next topic in romantic relationships: communication. You're not going to get anywhere communicating if there's no understanding between you two. And I'm saying this because usually we let things slide. You're like, you know what, it's not even that deep, I'll just bring it up another time. Ugh, that really pissed me off, I'm just gonna get mad, I'm just not gonna say nothing, I'm just gonna wait. Do not do that. That's gonna build up. The little things, those things like something simple, you don't like the way something was said or how they interacted with another person, you don't say that, it's gonna continue to build up. There's gonna be one disagreement you guys have, and all that builds up anger, that builds up resentment, you're gonna spit that out at them at once. You may say some things you regret, they may say some things you're like, wait a minute, why didn't you tell me that? But babe, you were holding on to things too. Communication and understanding is key. As soon as something comes up and bothers you, you need to voice that with your partner. It is that deep. If you want something like that to last, it is that deep. You have to understand each other and what you guys expect from each other so that you guys can hold each other accountable when it comes to these things. Hold yourselves accountable. Yeah. Those like traits that you have that builds toxic traits. And I don't like the word toxic, but yeah, it builds like those traits that you're gonna carry on to a brand new relationship. This person could really be good for you, but since you're holding on to these things that happened with your past relationship, you're going to ruin something that could be potentially really good for you. You can ruin a potentially really good relationship for you, something that's really healthy, something you can really benefit from, because you're holding on to these toxic traits and you're letting it infect what you have new. Don't let past weeds infect your new meadow. What analogy was that? I don't know, but I ate. Yeah, I want like people to understand we're still young, so you can't have expectations of adults when you and the person that you're talking to are still young. Meaning you can't expect a dude to, okay, from a girl's point of view, especially if you're in like you're in late middle school or early high school, you can't really expect a dude to pay for your nails, your hair, buy you clothes all the time, buy you this, buy you that, especially if you can't do the same for him. Loving someone is already a task within itself, so having these unrealistic standards at our age is not healthy. You know, it causes insecurities within the relationship, within your partner, having them feel like they're not enough, and it's just not good. No, let's not do that. It's not good. It's not nice. If you're noticing that the only time you're trying to talk to a person, all they're advancing for are certain acts, certain things, and you're kind of like, whoa, can we like slow down? Don't indulge into that further, because that's going to lead into you making some decisions that you're most likely going to regret later on down the line. That is, I've heard that from other people my age, and it's something that I tend to really avoid because it can cause a lot of regret. And I don't like that word, but it can cause like you looking at yourself differently, stuff like that. And I'll say especially for girls, because I know boys experience this too, but I can only speak from a girl's point of view. But don't let a relationship be built just on physical things. And to tie up romantic relationships, you cannot change a person. And when I say that, you can't force somebody. If you meet them one way, you cannot force them to be the person that you have made in your head. That's something I notice we also tend to do, is even if a person isn't treating us well, we fall in love with or the idea of what they can be, their potential, and we try to force them to be that, and that will never work. A person will change for you, or they'll treat you the way they feel about you, is what I'm really trying to say. And you trying to force these expectations that you made about them in your head on them isn't going to get you anywhere. It's just going to lead to frustration, resentment, anger, arguments, split up. That's really all it's going to build up to. And if you and your partner really love each other, process and decide, you know, okay, I'm willing to compromise for this, I'm willing to make the sacrifice for this, but never sacrifice yourself to make somebody else happy, but there are compromises that can be made. Keep the peace. Yeah, so let's not be petty. Pettiness isn't gonna get you anywhere either. If you're still thinking about doing petty stuff to get this back, then you're not ready for a relationship, because honestly, it's not gonna get you nowhere. Yeah. Next on the docket is comparison. They really do not lie when they say comparison is the thief of joy, because baby, you will really feel a type of way if you just live your life comparing yourself to other people your age, maybe a little older or maybe a little younger, especially in today's day and age with social media making it accessible for you to peer into other people's lives or part of people's lives that they want you guys to see. It's like, it's discouraging at times, especially like you see some people, they making bank. I'm like, damn, like we're the same age. What? Did I miss the secret formula? What's going on? It seems like they have their whole lives together. You can see that and be inspired by that, but don't take that and fester it in your heart to be like, instead of doing that, use that as motivation. So you know what? I'm gonna start something today. Don't put it off. Say, I'm gonna do this next week. I'm gonna do this tomorrow, because that's just procrastination. If you have an idea, write it down. Get it out the way. But don't compare yourselves. Don't do that, because it's really gonna lead to you feeling behind. And once you start feeling behind, you start believing that you're behind, you're going to eventually fall behind. So let's avoid that at all costs, please and thank you. I'm speaking from personal experience. It doesn't help you at all. This can apply for relationships, and I say this because I've noticed that y'all remember that whole Dirk and India thing when boom they had their little separation. It was like everybody's like, oh my god, I don't believe in love no more. Like if Dirk and India gonna break up, then what? And I'm just like, basing your outlook on romance on celebrities for one, and in other social media relationships, half the time what they be showing y'all is not even real. That's the part that be blowing me, because it all be act behind the scenes, for one. For two, those are also unrealistic, and it's like you would see them, you're like, dang, they never argue, they never fight. Why are you comparing yourself to people that you see on social media? What good is that gonna do for you and your situation? You feel me? Any type of comparison is not good if you're making it negative, a negative outlook on yourself. Instead of like saying that motivationally, you're doing that with the intent of one-upping somebody. I don't like, what are you trying to one-up people for? Stay in your own lane and one-up yourself before you focus on one-upping somebody else. Don't do that. That's not a good look. What do you get from it? Does it feel good? Oh wait. Oh, okay. I'm not saying like you're like a terrible person for if you feel jealous. Jealousy is a normal feeling for humans to have in general. I'm not saying you're a terrible person for it, but if you keep dwelling on it and you're noticing, don't feed into it, because that you just start becoming, no, it's not good. It's not a good look. I promise you. Wherever you're at right now in life, you're doing great. I promise you. You're better than you were 2 years ago. You're better than you were 5 months ago. You're better than you were 2 days ago. You're advancing at your own pace. So focus on your own pace in your own lane. Please. Next on the docket, peer pressure. Although peer pressure isn't like exactly what you may see in movies or TV shows, it's still a thing. It's very real. And it just comes in different shapes and forms. It could be a simple, yo, you trying to try this, and you're like, nah, I'm good. And you know within yourself that you never wanted to do that same particular thing, go that particular place, do this particular act. You know you didn't want to do that. And then you let them get into your ear, and he's like, you know, whatever. It only takes one time for something to go wrong. And if it goes wrong, God forbid, but if it were to go wrong, whatever it is, whatever situation, whatever action, whatever substance, anything, you can't blame anyone but yourself, because you had the option to say no. And even if you said no and you turned around and you went back on your word, you see what I'm saying? You see how it's like full circle? Yeah, it's full circle. I'd rather be made fun of for not doing something than looking later down the line and something goes bad. I'm like, dang, I was gonna say no, but I still went and did it anyways. Don't do that. Honestly, don't fall into it. It's not gonna look the same as what you think. Look out for that and stay firm on your word, literally. Tying into that, trust your gut. Your gut is literally God speaking to you. That's your body reacting to him speaking to you. you're going to be so happy, so grateful that you trusted your gut looking back, and then instead of regretting something that you did because you ignored that gut feeling that you had. Like, it's not a feeling you can ignore. And you start physically feeling the way your body's like, no, I shouldn't do this. Do not ignore that. I promise you, trusting your gut will always lead to a better outcome. Always. Yes, if you know what you want to do or want to experience or whatever it may be isn't something you should be doing, but you feel comfortable enough doing it, I'm not saying do it anyways. I'm going to tell you not to do it. But if you're going to, just make sure you're comfortable within doing something, which should be first instinct, but some people are easily influenced. And if you know that's you, just try to avoid those situations at all costs. And if you find yourself in that situation, stand firm on your word. It takes one time, one mistake, one accident, one slip up, and your whole life can be turned around. So please, trust your gut, follow that instinct, and let's be smart. Now, we're going to get into the portions that are more personal to me. I started eating better, and that was a problem. Me and junk food. But I started eating better still. I spoke about my hobbies before in my first video. That was my skating, my reading. Yeah, those are some things that I've started doing back again. I'm not falling in love all over again. So, you know, my hobbies I've jumped back into. I've tried, like, being more active because you feel more productive that way. More energetic, relaxed. Another thing, getting enough rest. I was the type to pull all-nighters. I still kind of do when I gotta study, but I've been working on it. Because getting more rest, I've noticed I just feel so much happier. And I suggest everybody try it too, everybody watching this video. Get the 8 hours back. It's really worth it. You're gonna feel like 10 times better. I promise. But yeah, that wraps up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Whatever time you're watching this, have a good night, good day, good evening. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.